Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 7th. We're looking at the US Japanese yen today. This pair pulled back, created an inside bar. Definitely looking, this is one of my favorite setups, as y'all probably know by now. We have a large move up. We have a inside bar that closed down. Now I'm looking for a break above this high of the previous session to drop down to a lower time frame, say the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and look for a potential trend on that time frame to move, for the pair to move higher. Now, as far as what I'm looking for in this pair, it did close down today, but I believe it's moving up, biases to the upside. I'm looking for this next session to be between 110.10 and on the lower side 108.85. Now, as far as looking where resistance will come into the market around the 110 area, you can definitely see some hit the market at that point. And support, look for support to come into the market around the 108.50 level, which is right around this point. Now, looking over at the Euro USD pair, this particular pair moved down today. It's trending down, biases to the downside. I'm looking for this next session to be between 1.5537 and on the low side 1.5271. Now, interestingly enough, if this this pair continues lower, I'm looking for some support to come into the market at 153.00. If it breaks the 1.5284 level and closes below that, then we can see it, should see it drop pretty quick to the 1.5200 level. And if we get a close below that level, at that point we're open to just shoot straight down to the 1.5000 level. Don't know if that'll happen. Definitely something to keep an eye on. These are key levels of support. If they're broken and close below, we could see it just zoom on down. Now, on the high side, looking where we should see some resistance come into the market, I think we'll see it at around 1.5500 for this particular pair. Now, looking over at the pound US dollar pair, this pair is also moving lower. It moved lower today, and it is the 5th day that it's closed down. So we could see a retracement. We could see it pull back a little bit, and then if it's going to continue lower. But closing 6 days in a row down is rare. Typically, we have a pullback prior to that point. But nonetheless, this pair is moving down, has a bias to the downside. Looking for this next session to be between 195.72 and on the lower side 1.9374. Those are what I believe the range will be for this next session. As far as where we should see some support come in, probably see it around the 1.9400 level, and on the higher side resistance, we should see some resistance come into the market around 1.9550, which would be right at this point, just a little bit below what our range would be. Now, looking over at the US Swiss, this particular pair is moving higher, closed up for today. I believe the bias is to the upside still. We have a range projection of 1.0672 on the high side, and on the downside 1.0491. Now, looking at as far as support and resistance goes, I believe that we'll run into some resistance at the 1.0640 level, which is right about here. And as far as support goes, looking for support to come into the market around 1.0550, which is close to about this level. Now, interestingly enough, if we get a close above today's or the previous close. Basically, if we get a close above 1.0624 level, we could see this pair move higher. Should see it move fairly quickly to the 1.0729 point. So look for a close above this level, and if so, then we could just shoot on up to this point. I believe we'll have a pullback prior to that, but it's definitely a possibility, and a close above that could make that a reality, going that high really quick. Now, looking at what occurred today, we had the Euro, the Eurozone had the German trade balance that was higher than expected, and it actually moved the Euro up during the early part of the session. The Euro and the Pound both held rates. The Euro held their rate at 4.25%, and the Pound held their interest rate at 5%. Now tomorrow, Friday, we have the Canadian employment figures being released at 7 a.m. And the consensus is that the employment rate has moved higher during July. So definitely take a look at that. It's being released at 7 a.m. So until tomorrow, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.